Ahoy. So there's a lot to cover. I'll talk about the game and the tech. But last year, or whenever the Apple Vision came out, I was inspired by the Formula One app, which let you have viewpoints of all the drivers' cameras just anywhere in your room, and you could see from their viewpoint what they could actually see. And I figured that'd be really cool in a VR game like this, where you could make a command center like in the movies, where you could have a really janky low res holographic table, and then you'd have to rely on what they can actually see, and then when they die, this would go and you'd lose contact. So, and then pulled in the latest VR SDKs and learned that the hand tracking is really good now. So you can actually just drag screens wherever you want. You can pinch and zoom the map. You can rotate it and do whatever. Now, obviously, this isn't in VR, but that because recording VR on YouTube makes people seasick, so or motion sick. So then I'd caught up with all the latest VR stuff, and I thought, well, I've been doing AI things for a while. Let me try use this as a tool instead of just the usual generative way. So this is what I have. I have discount drones, and the whole idea is that the quality of the holographic table is low, and they'll get things wrong because it's running on a tiny model locally to fit into memory. And there's a bunch of them running. There's Whisper running for speech to text. There's Lava running for describing images. And then there's a model for interpreting commands for intent. So the whole thing is that they discount drones because they'll get stuff wrong. But then as technology improves, in theory, the game just gets better by itself because the AI in the back end just gets better. So I was using Piper for text-to-speech, but yeah, that killed my GPU with all these things running, so you'll get the janky version of it. So what I can do is I can address a squad member. I can say, number 3.
Number 3 reporting.
And then I can even do something like, what do you see? And now my GPU starts to burn on fire as it captures the screenshot.
Trees and grass.
I mean, thanks for that elaborate answer. But then what I can do is I can actually, let's select number 1 and make the move over here. And now, number 1.
Number 1 reporting.
So what you can do is, to get intent working, right, voice control in games has always sucked because you always have to use strict certain commands. But people have different ways of saying things. So what I do is I actually convert your speech to text, pass it off the LLM with a bunch of available commands. So like walk, fire, whatever. And I say, what is the intent of the user? So now I can say something like, walk over there. It actually starts going, and then we can watch their progress as they walk. And the whole thing with them being discount drones is you can see there's something fuzzy there, and the fog of war hasn't revealed it yet. So let me try ask number 1 what they see. What do you see? Churn.
There are people standing in the dark, and they appear to be wearing green lights on their heads or torsos.
Right.
The green light illuminates their silhouettes against the darkness of the surrounding environment. Okay.
So, the whole thing about this would be because they're discount drones, they can't actually identify things properly, so it may mistake a hostile as a friendly or a friendly as a hostile. But yeah, let's just see the fog of war actually reveal that. So we can. I'll switch audio to 3 or 2.
Engaging enemy.
So we hear the gunshots coming from the right because we're currently
Target
listening.
eliminated.
Because we're currently listening to 2. So yeah, this is kind of what I had in mind, and let's just put them inside the house because I'm kind of proud of how nice that looks. So they can now go inside, and we'll see them. The house goes down, reveals the internal contents, and
Target eliminated.
there'd be things to collect and stuff like that. But this was the concept. I figured, I'd make this into a nice, proper full game, but I clearly haven't touched this since the Apple Vision launched. So I thought I'd just share it before this inevitably dies on a hard drive like 1,000 other projects.